Hello and welcome. Today's date is the 18th of January, 2020. My name is Jeremy Young. To my faux student virtual listeners, thank you for evaluating my presentation. Go ahead and go through the setup here and make sure that you have everything the way that it should be. Particularly make sure that at the very end here you have the chat open. We're going to be using that later on. So for a quick quality check, remove any possible distractions, turn off your phone, shut your door, etc. Do everything that it takes to make sure that we have our quality time undisrupted. Take a deep breath, try to remove your head from problems not relating to this particular class. For our big idea this time, it's what is collaborative thinking? At the end of this presentation, you should be able to identify what makes collaborative thinking and learning effective, distinguish what would be an example of collaborative thinking versus what would not be, and engage in collaborative thinking yourself. So for our first activity, we are pondering the question, what makes a group collaborative? So on a sheet of paper, answer this question. First, pause this recording so that you can answer, and then come back. Okay, hopefully you've answered by now. I'm going to send a link to a YouTube video in the chat. All right, and there we go. There's the link. So go ahead and pause this recording, watch that video, and then come back. All right, now that you've watched the video, were you close to what was in the video in your interpretation of those terms? And after watching the video, how has your opinion changed? Collaborative thinking. Collaborative thinking is all about combining the knowledge and perspectives of different individuals to great effect. When executed properly, collaborative thinking can be exponentially better than the same individuals just thinking independently. It's very much a case of the whole being greater than the sum of its parts. So a good way of exploring collaborative thinking would be to divide up those terms. So for collaborating, we have to define that in more specific terms. So if individuals are not considerably and equally free to both propose and challenge ideas, then their group efforts are not truly collaborative. The freedom to raise an idea means that the likelihood of a good idea being suppressed is lessened, and in the same way, the freedom to challenge an idea means that the likelihood of a bad idea being executed similarly lessened. So for thinking of collaborative thinking, cognizance left uninfluenced by surroundings or peers is prone to errors and biases. So the human mind is not meant to be left in isolation, and ideas that are not exchanged with others can bear tremendous flaws that the individual may be blind to. Similarly, ideas only passed between like-minded individuals can suffer under a feedback loop of bias. So if you are going through this feedback loop just from yourself or in a group, it's not really thinking in the sense of collaborative thinking. Groupthink. Groupthink is one possible outcome resulting from a refusal on the part of a team's members to deconstruct ideas. It's what can happen when a team does not have a culture that is welcome to truly critical thinking, that really is willing to deconstruct those ideas. Okay, time for our second activity. Take out a piece of paper, write down whether you think the following examples are of groupthink or collaborating. So pause this video until you have that piece of paper out, and then continue when you're ready to get started. Or just use the piece of paper that you used before. So for example 1, most of the team decides that path A is the best option because Anne believes that the group is full of very rational people. Though she does not understand A at the moment, she agrees to keep with it to keep the team's cohesion. So go ahead and decide if this is an example of groupthink or collaborative thinking. For example 2, Nathaniel set out against Plan A. Many of the people who were for Plan A before seem to be changing their minds, now pointing out the flaws in the arguments for it. So for our answers here, we have example 1 being groupthink, and example 2 being collaborative thinking. So for example 1, the group makes the consensus that it's a good idea and it goes unchallenged. And in example 2, though other people jump in with challenging the idea, it is an example of collaborative thinking because now she has opened, or Nathaniel, I should say, has opened that door for everyone else to begin to challenge this untested idea. So in conclusion, collaborative thinking is a process by which team members can all become better thinkers by allowing each other to add to their intelligence. By which I mean each other's intelligence. In order for collaborative thinking to work, everyone should be contributing to an environment where critical thinking is fostered. Thank you again for watching this presentation, and I look forward to your feedback, FO students.